So let's talk for a second. The scenario. Canon? I don't know. There's a couple of boo-boos. For instance, do you guys remember when we played Under a Blood Red Moon, and there was that one vampire that you guys dogpiled on that pallet, and you looked around.
Remind us every time.
Yeah, you found out she was actually a good person.
It happens.
Well, good news, because she is actually his sire, Anita Wainwright. Yeah. So she apparently survived that.
Damn, she's scary.
We tore her limb from limb.
The Succubus Club canonically does not exist anymore.
Terminator.
Well, hang on. Well, I like this canon better, and if I were to run a Chicago Chronicle, I would keep it around. But because Brennan Thornhill canonically died in Under a Blood Red Moon...
Donor?
Yes. It was taken over by Portia of the Toreador, who ran it into the ground, and the Succubus Club became like this traveling fucking thing. Basically like a spirit Halloween, but like party time spirit.
That's a traveling vampire show. To quote the Mentalities.
Let's just talk about the pre-alpha in general. Now, I want to hear from you, because before we started recording, you were going to say something. I told you, no, save it for the camera. Unleash it, buddy. White Wolf is doing this for feedback. You give them fucking feedback. Don't hold anything back. Don't play politics.
Hold some things back.
You know, that's a good fucking point.
Okay.
Be tasty.
You almost took that leash off, and I was like, no.
I took the leash off. I didn't open the gate.
Finally.
Into the camera clearly and speak up.
All right. Okay, so do you want my opinions on the scenario or the whole
Everything.
You didn't like.
Well, I'm most interested in what was bugging you before we even started playing, when I was just explaining the rules updates.
Oh, the criticals. That's just like they're the messy criticals. Like that's gonna be bothersome. I mean, it wasn't so much in this one, right? Because like we were gonna fuck shit up.
It's Gary, Indiana.
Yeah, but in a more proper civilized one, that's just gonna be incredibly frustrating. It's a good thing we don't play like that though. But I imagine for people who want a good normal Vampire Masquerade game, that would be like, oh, I'm gonna do this thing. Oh, okay. Well, you try to shake her hand, and your fucking fangs come out.
Well, who's gonna fucking roll to shake a hand?
I don't know.
Like,
maybe it's someone you really fucking hate, and you'd be like,
Just
yeah. You
again, if you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fine. I can always house rule shit out once it gets to one.
But see, here's the thing. I don't think this system is. So it's different, right? But I don't think it's different enough for us to warrant switching systems. Like, you can pick and choose stuff, right? But, like, it's different and it's faster, it's dirtier, and it's super lethal, which I don't particularly mind, but that just leads me into turning, or being, like, going around. I'm just gonna go hit things. I don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk diplomacy if, like, I can probably get hurt and die. And that also leads me to probably wanting to build a more combat-oriented character. Because I know that... You saw what she did. She's not terribly high. Like, she was like a neonate. But she fucking knocked people the hell out, like, easily.
Yeah. I mean, that was...
Like, what's the point in me talking to somebody if I can just, like, punch them, get the hell what I want, and then go?
Okay, I have 3 points, and I'm going to try to keep all of these together. Number 1, the messy criticals, as I was explaining to Tom, they're not meant to be a punishment. They're supposed to be a success, right? They're supposed to be extra for you, but it can backfire a little bit because, like, it is messy. You can, if you really want to, you can use your willpower to control that. Although I do agree, it kind of sucks.
I had 3.
Number 2.
It only goes up to 5.
I actually really like this system a lot. I like how combat's a lot faster. I like how dexterity is not a god stat. I like how I like the hunger rules. I actually really like that a lot. That you guys aren't sitting there monitoring this little fucking tank, because usually in a game of Vampire, the hunger that lust for blood doesn't ever show up. It's just you guys jerking around and fucking, blowing up buildings and shit. This feels more like you are a vampire struggling with your hunger, and I love that. You guys have theoretically infinite blood points. If you guys keep rolling high on the D10s, you don't have to fucking worry about it. But I really like that.
Yeah, but see, if I'm rolling all of my like fucking hunger dice, like I honestly didn't care what my hunger was gonna do, like at all. I was fine if it went all the way up to 500 times over.
Because this is a one shot though. But if we were doing free states,
And that was still this character, I wouldn't have minded. That's the difference.
fair enough, maybe. I personally really like this system. Again, it's not finished. Now,
Yeah.
that being said, I do have problems with the system. I don't want to detract from the conversation. I don't fucking remember what the third thing I was going to talk to you about was. The super lethal thing. So, in our 2 playtest sessions, this one and what was the fucking Berlin one? Last night. Was it the last night? Yes, the last night. We really only had 1 combat each, and both times it didn't necessarily have to happen. That's another thing. In Vampire, you're not going to be fighting a lot.
No, but it seemed like a very easy way out.
I mean, isn't it in regular Vampire? Isn't it in V20?
I mean,
we kept talking about Gabriel, right? We may make these jokes. Okay, so to explain to the audience, Gabriel is his character in the home game. It's a fucking caitiff with celerity, potence, and fortitude. It hits things. You roll 16 fucking dice on the attack. How is it not an easy way out? I'm not the face. I'm not the person that goes in and negotiates things. I'm the thing that they bring along in case. With this one, it's more like I kind of had to be there. I don't know if you had to.
Well, I mean, there were much less political ramifications to deal with.
That's true too. Again, I think things would be different in an ongoing chronicle.
Yeah.
Like, we kind of knew where we were going with it. The entire political system in this town was already fucked anyway, so...
Yeah, that's the other thing. Camarilla sucks. Like, there's little reason to stay on that side.
Okay, that, I will admit, that is a stylistic choice from the new White Wolf. They want to be on the side of the little guy, and I was actually talking to Martin Elrickson at Gen Con about this, and I asked him, so is that why everything's been like really Anarch-centric lately? He's like, yeah, and that. But, however, that being said, like when it actually comes to release, that's probably up to the ST. Although, to be fair, the Camarilla has always sucked.
I mean, yeah.
As we've learned.
Yeah, but read the Camarilla entry for Mind's Eye Society. It blows ass. If you are not an established elder, it really sucks to be part of the Camarilla.
Hey, you guys were in the LARP. You know how much it sucks.
Fucking pyramid scheme.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. The Camarilla has always sucked. Camarilla has always been terrible. It's always, the way I kind of look at it is, the Camarilla is lawful evil, the Anarchs are neutral evil, and the Sabbat is chaotic evil. They're still shitty people, they're just shitty people.
Okay, well, let's roll the darkness. Evil, or like, I think the highest it gets is like, neutral on the whole.
Fair enough. Tom, I get I'm just getting a vibe from you that you're like holding back or wanting to say something. Please, unleash.
Oh, it's the messy crits. I hate that. It honestly, I can't not see it as just a punishment for doing a good roll. It is, honestly, I think probably the worst choice that they could have done.
Okay, fair enough. I will, if that makes it to retail, I will probably house roll that out. If both of you guys are uncomfortable with that, then yeah, it's gone.
Because I mean, every dice system is like, oh, you did this good thing, good job, you did something great. This one is like, oh, you did that good thing, fuck you.
Fuck you. You thought this was gonna be easy?
How do you guys feel? Josh, you haven't said anything.
I think there was something Tom said earlier. I don't know if it's going to be included on camera from our discussion prior to us starting to play. But he said something about this is a game first and foremost, and part of playing a game is having fun. And I think the mechanics are pretty engaging and fun. I also kind of on the fence about the messy critical kind of thing. I think that can be left a lot to how the storyteller wants to use it. Like, I get the whole, like, oh, I shake somebody's hand, but I really don't like this person. We'll roll composure. Well, that's a messy crit on your composure. You grab their hand and you fucking crush it, right? I can see how that might be something, depending on the storyteller, would depend on how that works out. But for me, like I was saying earlier, like, when we were looking at the characters, I really didn't want to play any of them. Like I was saying, I get that these are kicked in the dirt anarchs, but this is a game. You're supposed to have fun. There should be some qualities in these characters that you're like, man, that's really fucking cool. I want to play this. And I kind of found that in this guy, and I was kind of, I guess playing, I had a hard time getting a grip on him. I saw that in his character. I guess the war veteran has some cool things. And like as I was saying, some of these characters, I know these are pre-generated characters, but I think that's something they should think about with character generation, how it goes forward and backstories and whatnot. Is that this is still a game, and you should want to be able to want to play your character and have fun with it, and that it shouldn't always be, you know, you're being fucking kicked down all the time kind of thing with the way things are written.
Sure. Although that is more of a commentary on the scenarios, not so much the game itself. But I mean that feedback is welcome to White Wolf too. So yeah, definitely. I will say that I enjoyed playing The Last Night a lot more than I did Rusted Veins. Now I have nothing but respect for Matthew Dawkins, who wrote this. I think he's fantastic. I love his YouTube channel. We're subscribed.
Like if this was like I was saying, if this was a novel, I would have loved to have read this. I don't know so much about playing through characters like this and the scenario necessarily.
I don't know. It's just when I read through The Last Night, I was like, yeah, this is kick-ass. This is cool. There's this weird fucking angle with everybody being bloodbound, and then you guys made the characters like really fucking funny. Goddamn Herbruno. With this one, I don't know.
There wasn't a lot of room to make these characters funny.
Yeah, like none at all.
It was hard to do that without being shitty.
Yeah.
Well, okay, there's two ways to look
You
at
can't be
that.
like, ha, you don't have a leg, Peggy. That's fucked up.
There were slight moments where we were able to inject some of our standard silliness into this with the Katy Perry bits and whatnot. I felt like pushing it almost. This almost felt too dark to be fun.
It did feel like a really constant struggle.
Which is fine, right?
That's how a lot of I'm assuming that's how a good amount of people want to play this game.
I think that's how it's intended.
Yeah.
No, I definitely think that they were trying to make this into a struggle, a very dark struggle. And
I mean, but the other thing had that too, right?
no, but like this is far more like a lack of control.
It was flipped, right? Because before you were the guys you were in charge, you were shitty people to the people below you, and now you're getting your comeuppance and or trying to escape it, which you guys did. With this one, you were the people being shit on. So it was a similar story from different perspectives. And I think...
But the people doing the comeuppance in the other story were terrorists.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah, I don't think we did anything that bad.
Murphy, anarchs are usually terrorists. That's not...
Wow, that's stereotyping.
Not all anarchs are Murphy.
Okay, we have Mark Zantz and Murphy Fierro literally sitting right next to each other. But who gets the most attention? Actually, you're the fan favorite for most of the comments I read, but usually it's Murphy fucking Fierro. What do we keep talking about? Oh, Fierro above a building. Oh, do the anarchs know the great Murphy Fierro? Yes, they know about him because he's gonna go down in legend as having fought in the goddamn anarch fucking...
Is that where they learn their techniques of terrorism?
You started this whole legacy of terrorism. This is really your fault.
Cars.
The Camarilla is shitty because of you. I want you to know this. You, Murphy Fierro, have single-handedly...
A true Bruja sent him back to like the medieval times where he initiated like the first fucking, what was it? The first Sabbat.
Oh, the first anarch revolt.
Hey, King Arthur, you think you're better than me?
I will fuck you up. No. For me, this felt like they forced us to struggle more. Especially with the messy critical thing. They want you to have less control than what control we can pull out of with our characters in other games.
But I felt more artificial, mostly just due to the restricted character.
It's very easy to not have to struggle with this stuff in the other games and not have to struggle with your beast or whatever the fuck. This forces you to have to struggle with that.
The other...
I'm not saying it's a good way.
The other thing I'm taking into account is, like, are they going to do something similar for Werewolf and Mage? Because Paradox is bad enough as it is. If you get it on accident.
From doing a good.
That'd be. I'm sure they'll figure out something, but like right now, I'm like.
Maybe it's. I feel like maybe it was just a mechanic that they didn't think people were using as much as they should have.
Oh yeah,
And now they're just forcing it on people.
Yeah, that's definitely what it was. They made it so like, okay, this needs to be a core system. Every time you roll dice, hunger.
I do kind of like the fact that you don't have to spend blood. You can, you're like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Keep doing things.
I got boners for day.
One more gripe. Can we please have the attributes go back to physical, social, mental?
Really? You like 3?
No, I mean just like in that order.
Rather than
Oh, the mental, physical,
mental
social.
first.
Yeah, that's fucking up with me too.
Yeah.
Can we please just have the old order?
You know what? I noticed that too. I guess it's because they don't want people to go, trench coat and katana style. So like they put it's what do you call it?
No,
like subliminally putting mental second or physical second.
I was gonna say we may be CAFCON, but we're not edgelords.
But I mean, it's been that order for how many years?
No, yeah, I understand. When I to clarify what you're saying, you want the character sheet to have strength, dex, stamina, then intelligence, perception, wits, or actually I think it's social second.
Social.
Yeah. You're not asking for the pre-alpha's return to one physical stat, one.
Oh god.
Oh yeah, no.
That shit sucked.
I'm talking about just the order on the reading from left to right on the sheet.
Okay.
It is. I have tried to roll like fucking my charisma like 14 different times.
You know what? I understand. I'm not gonna say it bothered me, but I did notice it. Also, I wasn't staring at a character sheet the whole time, so that's fair.
What's the particular reason that they don't make you fuck around with humanity as much anymore?
Okay, so as long as we're gonna start talking about humanity, that is my biggest gripe about this set of rules. I fucking hate the way humanity works now. Now,
Just because we can just do whatever we want now.
yeah, like okay. So here's the thing. They used a touchstone system in Vampire the Requiem 2nd Edition. I don't know much about it. I've never played it, but I know, and it's a good idea. You have, because as a storyteller, I will take things like your backgrounds and your flaws, and I'll use those to craft story hooks for you. With this, it allows the storyteller to, I guess,
have a foothold in your humanity kind of.
it allows them to craft better stories around the characters, and I think tell more compelling stories by putting those touchstones and dangers. That's good, but what about the little sin? Like I said, you can cap motherfuckers like Capri Suns on a road trip.
Oh yeah, that was ridiculous.
Like now, again, I don't know if I said this while we were recording or not. The module does allude to a humanity check. Now, it's possible that they just left it out for the purpose of this playtest because it didn't fucking matter. But when this goes to retail, we better fucking have some kind of humanity system where, hey, maybe I shouldn't kill this guy. Now, it's possible that I was thinking maybe if you're like a power gamer, maybe they want like a do I want to have the possibility of a messy critical or do I want to control my beast, But if that's the case, that's still stupid, because in a game where you are supposed to feel shitty about doing shitty things to people,
I had no qualms with demoralizing that person.
yeah, exactly. That shouldn't.
I was
be
actually encouraged to because I was hungry and there was no hit to my humanity whatsoever.
Yeah, that should not be a fucking it shouldn't be an either or choice. Do I want the better die or do I want to, kill this person? And then, because with all of the mechanics that 5e has that's meant to drive the story forward, there shouldn't be an option, I drain this guy to get rid of my health, and my character feels real bad about it. No, we need some sort of humanity to reflect killing an innocent person. Just, I like touchstones, but we need a way to deal with the little sin as well. I think so. Otherwise, if it's not there, I'm gonna fucking house rule it in.
That's why Gabriel doesn't just murder people, because he's a good person.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Xavier.
Again, I like the touchstones, but I hate that we don't have that role. Or even if it's not a role, Because I
This
think
person's also a good person. She's got Humanity 7.
Humanity 7 is what Vampire started.
Yeah.
I think the best fucking morality system White Wolf has ever come up with was Torment and Demon the Fallen. You do something shitty, you get a point of temporary torment. You do something good, you lose a point of temporary torment. You do so many shitty things, you get a point of permanent torment. No roll, no fucking Byrick ashing the top of a... Oh! That is one thing I wanted to bring up. In the humanity section, let me actually read it out.
I was like, Byrick Ash is mentioned by name.
What?
Just by deed, if not by name. Almost.
Like, if you go and murder an entire mansion full of people,
No, check it out.
hypothetically,
Byrick Ash.
A vampire loses one humanity by embracing a human and turning them into the undead. At the storyteller's discretion, a vampire loses one humanity by engaging in a truly bestial and appalling act, heinous mass murder, and painting the walls with blood and offal, etc.
that's almost literally exactly what he's saying.
Well, okay, he didn't paint the walls with blood and offal. Okay, first of all, let's ignore the fact that that's a completely fucking comedically absurd, suggestion.
Yeah, who would ever do that?
They painted the wall with a swastika and blood.
But the point is, why would you have to go that far to lose a fucking humanity? That's the thing. There's no roll. You don't get to sidestep the moral ramifications of, doing something bad. You acted like an asshole. You get a point of temporary torment for it. You act like an asshole again, you're gonna get another point. If you actually do something decent, I'll take those points away.
Yeah.
I think that maybe it's not perfect, right? But I think that's the best morality system White Wolf has come up with, and I would like to see them adopt something more like that for humanity.
I agree with that, yeah.
I was going to say, in defense of the whole have to commit mass murder to lose 1 point, I'm assuming that's because your character's going to theoretically live forever, and you're going to do a lot of really awful things over hundreds of thousands of years.
Well, yes, but that's why the humanity ratings were important.
I mean, yeah, but when's the last time you played someone? Aside from, obviously, the Premier
Yeah.
but when's the last time you played someone that was over, 30?
But the point is, like, a primogen who's lived for hundreds, possibly thousands of years is still going to be somewhat human by the time they get to modern knights. And they possibly insinuated mass murders along the way.
It's because here's the problem. Okay, that makes sense from a certain perspective. After a while, a vampire is just going to get so totally cold about killing people. The problem is, there is no downside to killing somebody. So, you can just get one hunger off some motherfucker, and then you're back to full.
Oh, but thank you.
I just there's got to be something wrong with killing somebody. I mean,
Any consequence?
World of Darkness.
It's a world of darkness.
Everyone's fine with it.
because before you could raise your humanity with XP. Now I see where they're going with that, because now you have to go on a quest or do story to raise your humanity back up. But the thing of it was, as you were committing murders, as you were doing shitty things, you were basically paying an XP tax to keep yourself out of the wassail, out of the I'm an NPC now. And they did that because, yeah, you're going to do a lot of shitty things. Here's how you come back from it. But just this, you guys will never have hunger die if there's not some kind of penalty for killing somebody, because there's no point. There's no point in risking a compulsion. Which are always fucking negative. There's no good compulsions.
Yeah.
There's no point in, even one hunger die, chancing a 1 in 10 chance to lose your next turn in combat.
Yeah.
There's not a goddamn point. So there's got to be some kind of ramification for killing
There
somebody.
might be more penalties at higher discipline powers.
But we have to go on what we know right now. We can't have conjecture of what may be coming. This is a playtest alpha. We have to use feedback of what we have. Otherwise, just conjecture doesn't do any good.
Maybe the disciplines only go up to 5.
No, there's going to be elder disciplines. Maybe not in the core rulebook, because V20 is the only one that ever had elder disciplines in the core, but it will eventually. Wait for the storyteller's guide or whatever.
Willpower 3.
So, Is there anything else you guys would like to mention about the rules or the scenario?
I think we got everything out.
Everybody said their piece?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
If we can add more merits and flaws.
Oh, that's not gonna be hard. I already know what I'm gonna do. My mission.
No, I just mean in general. Like just to White Wolf, just more fun. Those are always more fun.
That is a good point. I do hope they add flaws, because they've mentioned merits a lot. They haven't said anything about flaws. And again, I've been saying this a lot, but I'm just telling, if anybody from White Wolf is listening, I need this in my game, and I will house rule it in if you do not provide it to me. There will be flaws in my version of in 5th edition. The way I will probably work it is I'll probably limit you to 7 points of flaws, just like I believe you're limited in like V20 and stuff. And I will just give you regular XP to start with, instead of freebie points, because I'm not sure there will be freebie points in this. If there's not. And my mission is to try, because I've spent a lot of money on vampire books, and my mission is going to be able to try to use at least 90, 95, if I can, 100%. So I'm going to convert pretty much every merit, every flaw, everything I've got, if you guys want to play it. Especially since we're probably going to be converting Rise of the Free States over to this when it comes out. What?
That's gonna be nasty.
What? I'm gonna make it work. Have no fear. Storyteller Sama will make this
I
work.
know, I'm just gonna lose like 7 points of willpower.
Yeah.
Yep, right now it only goes up to 5.
We'll figure it out. Okay, I will tell you that.
On the upside, you will have way more health.
I don't think so. I don't know how the hell is calculated.
It's 5 plus stamina.
I'd have 2 more.
So, if everyone said their piece, let's do the survey and actually provide our feedback to White Wolf.
Alright.
How familiar are you with Vampire the Masquerade tabletop RPG?
We've been playing
Been
it.
playing it.
So I'm going to narrow this down to 2 questions first. I have a lot of experience. I know some details of the meta plot and story world. Or I am a hardcore fan. I consider myself a VTM expert. I don't know if I consider myself an expert. There's still a couple things that elude me, like the Canon heresy that I only know a little bit about. Certain aspects.
I'm more comfortable calling myself 4 than 5.
Okay. A lot of experience. How often do you play Vampire the Masquerade tabletop RPG? Regularly, I play more than 12 times a year, or at least 1 time a month. That's the most that we can pick. How often do you play other tabletop RPGs?
All the damn time.
Regularly.
Once a week.
Sometimes more.
Dude, I want to.
Did you play the V5 Alpha playtest or demo at Gen Con 2017? No. Not because I didn't want to. We fucking tried, and those fucking demo tables kept filling up. So, and the tickets fucking sold out to the bitch like a day after they went on sale.
Not for want of trying.
Yeah.
I didn't try.
Fuck you,
Fucking
you're playing
magic
Magic. 4 fucking days of Magic.
I just didn't go.
Was it difficult or easy to learn the V5 Alpha rules? Now, here's a part where I actually want to chime in on. I feel like this game, at least on my side, is starting to get a little crunchy. Like, okay, I'll put it to you this way. I started looking at the humanity rules. I started looking at, and of course we have our compulsions now. But there's like this Pathfinder-ass fucking reaction chart.
I'd say on the scale of every game I've played ever run, this is definitely on the easier side.
That's true. If we're comparing this to like Pathfinder or like Shadowrun, or which I admittedly don't know much about, or
fucking Scion or goddamn Magic rules, yeah, this
Double Cross. Double Cross is a little harder.
Yeah, this is definitely on the easier
But I
side.
mean,
It is in line with the D&D 5e.
For all the stuff that but look, I actually made my own fucking storyteller screen inserts on Photoshop, and as I explained to Josh, it was incredibly fucking boring because it was a lot of print screen, copy, paste, crop. So yeah, and I did that because I wasn't sure I would be able to keep track of everything. Yeah. So I feel like this is a little crunchy for somebody who's brand new to RPGs. If White Wolf wants to attract if White Wolf wants to attract newer players, I feel like newer players are going to be hesitant to actually want to ST because all the shit that they have to fucking keep track of. Now, admittedly, that's what the Game Master screen is for, so I don't know. I leave it up to you. Very difficult, a little difficult, somewhat easy, very easy.
Player was easy.
Yeah, for players, I can imagine for Storytell it's a little harder. Because they have to keep track of all that shit.
I'm going to split the difference and say somewhat easy. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Because that'll reflect the 5 out of 6 of us. Okay. 6. This does not include messy criticals. That's the next question. Did you feel the basic resolution system, including dice pools, fixed 6+ targets, and 0 criticals, was enjoyable?
I like the criticals and the system mechanic itself.
I too like the fixed 6. I like it. I like the...
Yeah, I'm fine with that one.
Okay,
Fine
so...
with that, and the crits are good. I like systems that reward players.
So, somewhat enjoyable or very enjoyable?
Ooh, I don't know about very. Yeah.
It's somewhat.
Very the strong word.
It's fun.
There is room for improvement.
Like the stunt system in Age. That's really fun.
Oh yeah, stunts are cool.
Yeah.
Here's the one you want. Were hunger dice and hunger rules, including compulsions and messy criticals, enjoyable?
No.
Fuck no.
Not enjoyable at all, mostly unenjoyable, somewhat unenjoyable, very enjoyable.
I cannot give that.
Waste of time. I mean, for this, yeah, it kind of was.
I literally had to hide under a fucking car just because I got a
Well, that to be fair, we deliberately voted for that to fuck you over, Bob.
I mean, we could have gone for like what was the last one?
Wallflower, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the entire system, right?
Yeah, it as a whole.
The hunger system itself is alright.
I'm gonna lobby for mostly unenjoyable because
Yeah.
I do like the compulsions. I like the idea of the compulsions, and I think the beast should gnaw at you a little bit. The compulsions and making you want to balance your hunger so long as there's actually a penalty for killing somebody, I think that's good design.
I have to say I would give it the worst score just for the messy criticals, but that's the caveat. Otherwise, it'd be okay, kind of wavering on the downside, but the messy criticals will absolutely kill it for me. I hate it. I want those taken out so badly.
Okay, so can I put mostly unenjoyable because this is including compulsions?
Yeah.
If it's the entire hunger system, I'll say mostly unenjoyable. Cause, yeah.
Okay. Did messy criticals turn up often or seldom?
I mean,
like
I don't think I got one. Like I got ones on my hunger
That
dice.
seems completely up to chance. Like, it didn't come up a lot just because.
Well, they could crank it up and be like, you get a messy critical on 8, 9, 10.
I would not play.
Yeah.
I do not like a system that is just out to just fuck over the fucking players of its game. I'm not out to play Dark Souls.
Dark Souls the board game. No, I think Dark Souls the board game had it easier.
Yeah, that'd be more fair actually.
I mean, somewhat, I guess. It only came up somewhat.
Yeah, it was.
It came up more than it should have. But I'm biased.
Which is at all for you.
Yeah, I'm super biased.
Too seldom, just right, or too often?
I don't. It didn't.
What a weirdly phrased question. I don't
Like it
understand.
didn't show up. Like when we.
just right.
I don't.
This roll is just right.
It showed up as often as it
Again,
would statistically show up. I don't.
they could make messy criticals happen more often. They could make it happen less often. Maybe you have to confirm a messy critical.
I would say they showed up
Too often.
just right. Too often.
I think too often.
Who says too often?
I think
Sure.
too often is probably the more negative.
Okay, fuck what I said. Okay, Bob, Tom, Bob,
I'll go too often.
too often.
Too often. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Which
would
is
think
it
of the
all?
idea.
I am lobbying so hard against this.
Too often. Fucking every goddamn roll wasn't
One.
Once is too often.
Did your character experience compulsions too seldom or too often?
Probably too seldom.
Yeah, I felt like I was just.
It came up once for me, and that's because it was our brother, and that was the
Yeah,
big thing.
it had to be that one.
Frenzy and compulsions are two different things, though. Compulsions is when you get ones on your hunger dice, like what he had to do.
See,
He had to sit there and feed.
a compulsion's
See, it gives you no way to like say that it just sucked balls.
Well, okay, to be fair, one thing we did forget about, I forgot, as your ST, you can spend a point of composure to negate a compulsion. So, you know what?
But you only get
My bad.
But we got to experience what it does.
That's true, and what it does is it feels, if you're not knowledgeable about the whole composure thing, is it just force feeds you fucking the struggle.
Is there any way to... Does enough successes counteract that?
No.
That's awful.
Like, your actions, so most of them don't fuck you over that bad.
I know, but like the whole like skipping an entire turn because you got on my entire dice pool, which is fairly large, and my hunger was at like 3 and 4 for most of that.
Yeah, but without the humanity, you could have easily negated that.
No, I mean like talking about like rolling a 1 and skipping my next turn.
Yeah, but I mean, if you didn't have any hunger, that would have been a problem.
Oh yeah, but I didn't like.
And without the humanity problems, you could have just easily negated that.
So it wasn't my fault as a player because I didn't kill enough people. So yeah.
Back to the humanity issue.
Too seldom, just right too often.
I would say
Just right.
somewhere around too seldom and just right.
This is seldom. Yeah.
Too seldom? I'm leaning towards too seldom as well. What do you guys have to say?
It's fine.
Too seldom.
Okay. Did you feel the compulsion effects were enjoyable to play out?
Oh fuck that.
I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah.
Okay, it forced me to have to problem solve and like figure out how am I gonna get out of this.
Which is fine, right? But that's your Bob. But like, what you're. I'm not. That's not the casting dispersions towards you as Bob. But like, you're a pretty clever dude.
I guess,
But like, if someone was playing like a stupid character, would they have been able to get out of that?
I mean, I didn't really figure anything out on my first part, and then it just turned into like, all right, I'm just gonna have to kill this fucker, so
Yeah.
let me wait here.
That does bring up a good point in that situation. That could have been very well the end of that character.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could have.
Just by one fuck up of the die roll, ended that character. Not even. It would have been acting like a cancer to the character, where it doesn't kill him immediately, but just like a few steps down the line, that did kill him, and that seems kind of shitty.
I would have put on my jacket and became baggy.
He's like, I guess Baggy's here now.
The bag was
Again, let's look at that in the big picture, right? 9,000 times out of 1,000,000, or what? 9,000 times out of 10,000, whatever. I don't. You get what I'm trying to say. He's not gonna be trapped in a fucking room with homicidal policemen trying to get him. Usually, it's gonna be like he's got to feed from somebody at this party. Usually, it's gonna be stuff like somebody in this club. He's gonna have to hunt.
Yeah, but
if that takes him, if we're moving on and he has to stay behind, that's frustrating. It's just like, fucking hurry up.
It's not gonna affect you that much actually, because I'm just gonna cut to him as the storyteller and be like, okay, what do you do? How do you hunt?
Yeah, but if he's just like trying to be sneaky about it, not just eat somebody in broad daylight, which I'm sure you can get away with.
Or get shot the fuck by 2 other cops that are watching me do this.
That's also the thing. He'd have to be patient, which is fine, right? That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, it like puts you into those wonky situations that you may not get into if you just, play straight through.
It's this downward spiral that can just be the end of something.
Okay. I don't know how that.
That situation is probably more unique than most, but it's the possibility that can happen.
Fair enough. So mostly unenjoyable.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't experience it. That being said, I enjoyed watching it happen.
I would say it was unenjoyable. It was just like I didn't put myself in that position. Some random confluence of events just kind of put me there.
You did.
Well, yeah,
You put yourself in that position by not feeding. That's the idea. When you don't feed the beast gets out of control. Now, again, there's the composure.
Well, that's right, because I didn't actually take the time to go feed and get rid of the hunger dice that I would have then not had to go through.
Yeah, you didn't kill it. 3 people in the way.
I was supposed to feed off my herd, but I didn't even think that.
Because Zion got rid of his hunger.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that, I guess, in that sense. So if you're hungry, then, you gotta deal with the hunger and the consequences of being
Like,
Yeah, I forgot killing people actually gets rid of the hunger completely.
here's the thing. Compulsions aren't... They're supposed to be a penalty.
Yeah. But
So, I'm not saying it was bad. It was not enjoyable.
It was not enjoyable.
it was
Okay, so somewhat enjoyable because Tom enjoyed watching it.
Somewhat.
Okay, somewhat enjoyable. Did you ever expend composure to negate hunger effects once or twice?
No, didn't get it.
We forgot about composure.
Well, no. I pulled a composure from him because I couldn't think of a messy critical. Because he messy criticaled, what was it? I think it was like knowledge or something, or...
No, the hunting the dude.
Oh.
Because he fucking fucked up on the gun.
No, that was wasn't that a succeed at a cost?
Oh, yes. I don't remember.
No, it was definitely a messy critical. Because succeed at a cost doesn't cost composure.
Yeah, that's why. But when he was trying to fucking get the bionic man.
I don't remember what it was precisely, but I know we did do it once.
You get some hyperdeck.
How enjoyable was the humanity and touchstone system?
I never got to experience it.
You would have had you decided to sell your brother up the river.
I mean, yeah, but what kind of fucking monster would do that?
Exactly.
I mean, like anyone but feels like the 2 main characters, I would say Zion and Sydney, didn't get to experience the humanity touchstone system in the slightest.
He had bums in the van that they saved. He had veterans in the van that he saved. Remember when I told you it matters if you ate the man or the woman in the factory?
Yeah.
For some reason I had it in my head that he was playing Baggy. The woman is Baggy's girlfriend, which would have cost him humanity. And I thought it would have been super fucking funny and you would have laughed your ass off if you cost Adam 2 humanity.
That would be funny.
He's a prostitute. And of course you guys had Kenny. Everybody has touchstones. Leonard, fellow infantry vet, runs the local veterans bar. You had
Cornell.
former steelworker, now vagrant and best friend. So everybody's touchstones, and I forget what yours were.
Mine was Ruby.
Were they in any danger?
Yeah.
Theirs? Like at all? Because...
I mean, if you guys had let the van go, yes. Their touchstones were actively in danger.
Did they know that?
I did tell them that they had people in the van too, so it didn't specify that it was their touchstones, but I mean, very well could have been.
I like my touch.
The hypothetical isn't really worth it. Like, for sure, Kenny was there, and we were going to probably do something about that. Because, like, the way our fucking backstory is, we couldn't just, like, leave him there.
Yeah, my character was all about redemption, so it was all about doing good things.
Alright, so
In terms of the scenario, some of the characters it was prevalent, some it wasn't, which kind of feels lopsided. But that's more of a scenario problem rather than the system's problem.
right, see that muddles things a lot. It really does. I'm gonna say somewhat enjoyable because, like as I said before, I like the touchstone system by itself, but it still needs that rule. There still needs to be some kind of humanity check for when you just off a guy.
But why was that enjoyable?
Because as the storyteller, I can use that to build plot hooks around your characters. And craft more. Like, for a storyteller, it's a wet dream. It's fantastic.
Because, like, for me, it was just like, oh, I'm kind of forced to do something.
Or you could have taken the hit to humanity.
I could, but then I felt like that my character wouldn't have done that.
Exactly.
These are
Wait, so
pre-generated.
humanity is like you're not playing your character?
We're playing pre-generated characters, though.
Yeah.
It's gonna feel weird doing the things that they have to do.
Yeah, it's like, I don't feel like my character would... I mean, I don't know. I didn't make this character. I don't know what's going on through their mind.
And see, that's the thing. I feel like you'd be able to rationalize it better. Like, the example they give is that a good storyteller will offer a choice between, say, like, doing damage to a touchstone or pursuing some kind of vampiric goal. So that way you have, the light side and dark side choice that affects the story. That's what the touchstone system is supposed to be.
this system was pretty easy. It wasn't like, oh, okay, your brother's over here at this spot, go do it, and we have to let them go.
Well, see, that's in their example. That's what a good storyteller would have done.
So the scenario was big.
The scenario had some issues for our troop, certainly. Did you feel that conflict system, including combat and injuries, was enjoyable to play?
It was, but that's because I didn't get hit. And I don't care about healing. Healing's balls. I
enjoy the combat system a lot. I think it's so much faster because you guys know how many times, two characters will get in a fight and that's all we do that night. It sucks. I love the fact that we can just boom, 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 and you guys are involved when it's my turn. You guys have to roll to defend yourself something. You're not sitting there fucking picking your ass. So I think the new combat system is aces. I love it. How would you feel about playing more Vampire the Masquerade tabletop scenario using these rules?
If it was a little more personalized, maybe.
I'm gonna say.
If we can build our character, please.
I'm gonna say mostly unenjoyable because, as a whole, the rules are good. I like the combat system. I like the hunger system. I like the bulk of the touchstone system, even though it's missing valuable pieces. I think compulsions are fun. I think critical injuries are cool. I'm like 75% of this is pure fucking cool. But the shit that's bad is a fucking floating rancid turd. So I want to say mostly enjoyable.
Wait, for the conflict?
Just playing more scenarios like this.
Oh.
Using more scenarios using these rules. And that doesn't necessarily state with pre-generated characters. I know you guys hate pre-gens. You guys have hated pre-gens from the dawn of fucking time.
This one isn't so bad, admittingly, but that's more because I didn't care about ramifications.
You got the arguably the best character dibs, like quit. Just
yeah, because as soon as you said we're gonna play pre-gens, I'm like, I'm fucking going through picking, done. Because I didn't want to risk getting
baggy.
Yeah. So I'm like, holy shit, they can punch hard. Fuck yeah. Yeah.
The characters did not feel fun, as Josh said. The characters from the previous alpha, we managed to inject them with something that was more fun. These weren't. These weren't fun. We had fun with them.
Okay, well, now we are in the scenario part of the survey. So
1 out of 5. 1 out of 5. 1 out of 5.
Well, first one, did you enjoy the playtest scenario?
I enjoyed the things I did. The scenario itself was just alright.
Would have been better as a novel, is my criticism.
The book was better.
It felt bland from a gameplay standpoint.
How so?
It's go to this meeting spot. Oh, it was a sting. Get the money. Go to this meeting spot.
I understand what you're talking about. It's a little point A, point B linear. Railroaded almost. I get it. So, not at all enjoyable, a little enjoyable, mostly enjoyable, very enjoyable.
A little.
I can give it a little enjoyable.
A little.
Like, the first playtest, that was super free form.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there was 9 different endings.
Did we get the good end?
You got one of them. You got just as best as it could. I mean, one of the
what about the true ending?
Well, you had to find your true love first.
Oh, fuck.
What were you going to say before I cut you off?
But my ex-wife was shitty.
I don't know what I was going to say.
I'm sorry. Alright, moving on. Did any of the player characters feel redundant in this scenario?
To be honest, his character kind of felt that way. No criticism against Tom, but his character didn't have as many personal hooks as we did.
No doubt. The only thing I had was Polinsky, and I think I just framed him for murder. I didn't get a call from him. My touchstone was never touched upon because we managed to do everything in one night.
We the two of us definitely felt like the main characters.
So specific character comments. You want me to put Malort felt redundant?
It was the Zion and Sid show.
Yeah. I feel like that would explain it better.
Like, if the scenario had multiple days, then more characters could have been more cohesive. But I don't know if it's intended to just be done in one night. There was absolutely...
Yeah, this is intended to be done in a 4-block session at Gen Con.
So yeah, then there's absolutely no reason for these characters to even have touchstones. If they weren't directly involved.
Good point.
To be on the take, to have someone blackmailing me, it just never came into play.
Yeah, I was just like I knew you were Dirty Cog. I was like, well, when does that come in?
Also, his Nosferatu is fucking gross.
Yeah. I was waiting for the moment to just whisper in someone's ear, just to be uncomfortably close.
Give them leprosy.
And it says you click when you walk.
The fuck? Oh, okay.
From the fingernails. They're like scales.
That's pretty gross, yo.
Okay,
Sequin dress.
did your group use the Camarilla scenario epilogue, and did you enjoy it?
I mean, I think we enjoyed it a little more, mostly because we were familiar with the...
Yeah, see, that's what made it for me.
Otherwise, it would have just kind of been a slog at the end.
Yeah, because like if assuming a new player had no idea who the fuck they were playing or what they did, or like how much of an impact these characters have, it would have been like, I guess, sure, whatever.
I've heard of Al Capone before. That's all.
Yeah, Al Capone. So who's his Khalid guy?
Khalid.
Is he the DJ?
Like another one.
Now that's I'm gonna imagine him when we play around.
The epilogue is definitely like pandering to veterans of the game. Otherwise, it's just completely it's just lost on everyone else. It would go over most people's heads.
Fair enough. So, yes, and it was enjoyable. Yes, but it wasn't enjoyable, or no. Well, it's either one.
No, but it was enjoyable.
I like reading it. Well, if we're supposed to answer this from our perspective, I guess we did have fun.
Yeah.
But I can understand if other people wouldn't. But yeah, it was definitely made more fun because we've been in Chicago.
Our feedback is too interactive for the constraints of the survey.
Make sure you put a
That's why we're recording.
Yeah.
Put a link to our channel when we end this.
Put in every comment you can put it in.
Refer to episode.
What else is there?
Did one or more of the members of the coterie betray the rest in your playthrough of the scenario?
I mean, like,
We
the
all
Dirty
thought
Cop
about
kind of did.
Yeah, if you want to count me running off with the money as a betrayal, then yeah.
Also, if I had to, I was completely willing to screw Tom's character over, only because this is a one-shot.
So was I. I was honestly, if you guys didn't kill that person, I was ready to sell all the information about that to Juggler.
Okay, so yes, and it irrevocably broke the coterie mid-game. Yes, and it irrevocably broke the coterie at the game's end. Yes, but the coterie recovered by the game's conclusion. Or no, everyone cooperates.
Well, I think the coterie was broken at the end because you're not gonna come back, right?
Oh no.
Yeah.
You're gonna go click off somewhere else.
And then we're probably gonna like try to find a way to fix Kenny, and then you can't really run off.
He was probably gonna stay with me.
Yeah.
So actually, next question: what was the fate of Kenny's fate in your scenario? We gave him to Modius. We sold him to Modius. We gave him to Juggler. We sold him to Juggler. We freed him. We took him to drain him. He was killed. We fled with him to Chicago. Who's Kenny?
We saved
Wow, most of those are really shitty.
Yeah. Like, wait, what? All of these were an option? How?
I saved him and fled to Chicago.
Well, I guess maybe if like a lot of people didn't end up playing Zion and Sydney.
Which is really weird, considering they're. Well, I mean, Zion's like the linchpin.
Yeah.
Let's just play. I guess someone's gonna have to NPC him because no one played him.
So would you guys have actually taken him to Chicago then?
I guess if that's what it's expecting.
Yeah,
Well, it's not expecting anything. We could just say we freed him. I'm wondering if you guys would have.
That probably would have been the safest thing, considering like you found out that he can. People want his blood.
So take him to where all the vampires are. They'll never expect it.
Like, you're
Hide 'em
free.
in the
Go on
boonies.
the train track.
Go on now, Canon. You're free.
There's a train tracks out there, boy.
Think of the rabbits, Kenny. As they just like come back and punch him in the back of the head.
Okay, so we freed him. Did the political leadership in Gary change by the scenario's conclusion? Yes, Modius is dead because we let a hunter into his fucking house with true faith.
That was awesome. I did like that part. Just like fucking let him go in there. Just like sunlight, fucking the angel comes down.
You're just like, fuck you, Modius.
Fucking apocalyptic form.
I feel like every vampire game we've ever played involves some form of the prince dying.
I just don't like the current prince.
We're anarchs for life.
No, not by choice.
How interesting was the blood trafficking plot?
Oh,
It only came up at the end.
Yeah, it came out of left field as well.
And I think it was only there just to show people or like kind of push more on that button of if you consume blood, you're going to get an effect from it now.
That's true.
I mean, I was.
It felt shoehorned in.
Fair enough. Yeah, I wasn't thrilled by that either.
There was no hint about it earlier. It was just like, oh, and we sell these people.
As a Kenny was like, oh god, there's Kenny.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, go meet this salesperson with all this money.
Fucking blood trafficking.
Like, okay, what's the product? People.
Their
to
blood
be
does
fair,
this.
To be fair, I was thinking it's like, well, what the fuck would vampires want? Like, are they selling books?
I would have expected like artifacts that are pertinent to vampiric lore, as we've seen with the LARP that so wanted the Book of Nod.
Yeah, like I was that was something that was expected. The human trafficking wasn't like unexpected, but just like, oh, okay, that's well shit.
All right. So not at all interesting or mostly uninteresting.
Mostly, I mean, it could have been cool.
Yeah, mostly uninteresting.
If it just had some hints here and there, that would have been cool. But
It was mostly like a shock factor.
Right. Fair enough.
Bum, bum, bum.
I love that groundhog.
Please tell us anything you would like us to know about your experience with the playtest rules or playtest scenario.
Get rid of messy crits.
What else do we want to complain about?
Messy crits again.
I don't know, just... I want to have fun with my characters.
Lighten up, guys.
It's just the world of darkness.
Don't make the character so shitty.
I already did that.
We're still playing to have fun, even if this is the world of darkness.
Here's one thing we didn't talk about. In my understanding, you only get a compulsion if you get 2 ones on hunger dice. Like, my understanding of the rule is that 1s on regular dice can't do it.
Yeah.
And the compulsion has to match the level of hunger that you are at. So why the fuck are there level 1 compulsions?
That's weird. Also, can your hunger stay at 5?
Yes, it can. But you have to make a frenzy check every time you rouse the blood.
And only when you rouse the blood?
Yes. I mean, well, okay. No, not only. Like, regular frenzy shit still applies.
Okay, because that would have been ridiculous.
No, but if you're at frenzy 5,
Now I have to decide do I want to be at hunger 0.
anytime you activate a discipline or try to heal yourself or anything that requires the spending of blood points, you gotta roll frenzy check.
So you just don't like frenzy like passively when you have 5 hunger, like it would be in like the V20.
No, you still all the same frenzy shit applies. Just every time.
I understand what you were saying.
Yeah, all the frenzy rules are still the same, but every time you would spend a blood point in V20, you roll for frenzy. You can't bleed yourself into torpor anymore. Like, it's impossible for a vampire to run out of blood in this system.
Oh, they just have to get beat down.
Well, no, because in V20, if you run out of blood, you enter torpor.
Yeah.
Oh man, that system would be so nice for Orpheus.
Now, the reason that I say that is because in canon, there's a lot of elder vampires who just, well, I guess not so much really. There's a couple that are staked and need to be fed blood to be revived. When is that ever going to happen to a player character? I don't know. I just don't like the idea that you can theoretically go for 2 weeks without drinking blood as a fucking Generation 13 neonate.
Why 2 weeks?
Any number. 5 months. 6 years. Doesn't matter.
Oh yeah.
Alright. My players did not want to play most of the pre-gens and stated they were not fun to play. They felt like, in quotation marks, they felt like cool fictional characters to read about in a novel, but were not fun to roleplay as.
Yeah.
Why are there level 1 compulsions if you need at least 2 hunger dice to trigger them? Since vampires cannot bleed themselves in a torpor, a neonate could theoretically run around for 6 months without feeding. Scenario made several canon mistakes. Anita Wainwright died in Under a Blood Red Moon, the Succubus Club is defunct, etc. That's okay though, because we like this canon better.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Brennan, Thornhill, for Prince, 2017.
Make sure there's a
I hope they
hashtag.
read that and they're like, what the fuck?
Well, why did you have him as your prince?
Well, we've kind of felt bad after we got his club attacked and then got his club attacked and then...
It's like Forrest Gump.
It's also the only way the Succubus Club wouldn't be defunct, because canonically, Portia runs it into the ground.
Portia's a bad person.
I don't know.
Have we gotten to that yet?
She never really factored in.
was
I
gonna
mean, she did, just not...
We were kind of
Not face to
above
face.
her at that point.
Please, I don't need to deal with your petty squabbles.
Well, I mean, we were fucking around with the Primogen. At that point. You can argue that we were above Brennan at some points. I think we just had a soft spot for Brennan because he kind of turned into like the sad sack.
Yeah, he was just like Eeyore, dude. Like, my club burned down again.
Hashtag Brennan 2017.
Like I once again imagine him as
Maybe
Jacob
refer
from
to our channel.
I'm
This
not
is
gonna send a
club.
link that's fucking tacky, Bob.
kept getting
Hashtag not my Camarilla.
Say caffeinated?
Oh, is that another thing I should put?
I mean,
The
that's really,
Camarilla feels like it sucks now?
I mean, that's really a gripe for me because, like, okay, yeah, the Camarilla sucks, but this one's like, fucking hell, guys, let off. Like, there's no one's gonna want to play you.
The Camarilla feels too much up their own ass.
I feel like the scenarios have been disproportionately slanted against the Camarilla.
Like, there's an
Yeah,
acceptable
but
amount
aren't they making that? Like, aren't they want to make that to the canon? Like, they're gonna be like the Shadow Corporation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, still, it's feedback on the scenario, and
make each faction more morally ambiguous.
Okay, well, it's Sabbat are just all assholes.
Well-
We all need the Sabbat. We need the Black Spiral Dancers. We need the Nafandi. Just things that are like these are objectively terrible.
that is not true. I think the Sabbat dealt way more as a shade of gray, at least in the revised update. I think you guys have seen the way I portray Sabbat characters. They're not all mindless evil dickheads. Yeah, those exist, but those people exist in the Anarchs too.
Yeah, but there's also all the Black Spiral Dancers are just like running around and like nakedly Krynos killing people. They're sick and they all.
Okay, nobody's defending the BSDs. No, you cannot defend the Black Spiral Dancers. You cannot defend the Nafandi. Like they're evil. But I think it's unfair to say the Sabbat is not morally ambiguous. I think they have shades of gray as much as the Camarilla does. I think now I did call them chaotic evil, but I personally have played chaotic evil. Look at the way I play in his fucking D&D game. I have my chaotic evil Dragonborn. I'm not a fucking crazy murdering psychopath.
Yeah, but those are the exceptions.
It feels almost as though the Camarilla is being portrayed as a one-sided villain.
You're gonna say
Basically, I'm tired of hearing the Anarchs whine.
like I was saying, they're too much up their own ass. There is an acceptable amount of vampires being stuck up their own ass.
Yeah, you play a Ventru.
But this Camarilla is too far up their own ass.
Like, we've been over this before, right? Where it's just like, it's easier to just assume that the other people are just bad and they want to kill you because it's far too complicated to assume that every fucking other thing out there has its own motivations and like drives, and sometimes they'll like you and sometimes they'll just work with you and they'll tolerate you. It's just like, all werewolves want to kill vampires. Easy. It's just easier that way.
Alright, any other comments you would like to send to White Wolf?
We did better this time to not ruin the scenario.
We should have ruined
That's because we didn't need to do anything.
It was already Gary, Indiana.
Yeah. I'm sorry for people who live in Gary. If it is that bad, well, don't stay there. Come on. There's no vampire lords. And if there is, there's a guy in Chicago who can help.
You just look for him on the couch of the Succubus Club, putting a butt imprint while everyone else is doing social stuff. All right, with that, I'm going to send the survey to White Wolf.
Where someone's gonna get it and they're gonna be like, oh no. Calf cutting.
I mean, it's an anonymous survey.
I hope that there's a cap like it's in the spam.
That's it.
Trash.
Good night. Thank you for watching us. If you've made it this far, I've seen you guys yawning. Go home. You have work tomorrow.
You have no idea.